Cashin. How to make money.
Okay, welcome everyone, and thank you for having me here to give the presentation. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to get these meetings together, so I'm glad to be part of it. This presentation is going to be on a software program I've used for since I think 2006 when I was playing with Linux distributions, and I found that lot of free software. This one is a personal financial software, and I've been using those on and off like through the time that I've been using computers, I guess. So I guess we'll go ahead here, and I'll just show you the topics we'll cover tonight. We're not going to be able to cover all the slides. So the first 2 bullet points, I'm going to tell you what GnuCash is. This is like a software program that you install on your desktop computer or laptop. It's not an app for your smartphone, but they do have an app that can assist this program. And then we'll do an example check for a checking account. And then the last point, securing your data. I have a lot of slides, but we won't get to that last bullet. Securing your data, like time permitting, I'll just make some comments on how to secure your data and get that far. And if you're new to GnuCash, like every other user would if you go to this website, this is pretty well organized. This is a starting point for anybody that's new to using it. And even if you've been using it for a while, you can still come back here because it's a very resourceful site. It's well organized, put together. And the home page is really the download page.
Is it possible to dim the lights?
Sure.
It should be on your little thing there.
On my panel?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't also. Do I have to get a sound check? No, I got it.
No, we're good with sound.
Okay.
But we want to say
Lighting.
yeah, lighting. And then conference.
I think you can just keep your. There you go.
And I think it goes all the time. Okay.
Perfect. Okay. How's that? Is it a little better?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're good here. So as I was saying, so GnuCash, it says right on the website what GnuCash is. Like look at the top here, free accounting software. When I started using this, I just thought it was a personal financial software. I didn't know it was more. But accounting to me is like something for business. But this is also personal. You can use the software as a personal user, but I've used it for business as well. And just on the website, just read out the description here. GnuCash. GnuCash is personal and small business financial accounting software, freely licensed under the GNU GPL. That's the general public license. For a number of distributions, these are operating systems. So GNU, Linux, BSD, Solaris, Mac, OS X, and all versions of Microsoft Home. And it's pretty much self-explanatory to navigate around the site, so I won't say too much about just that. You have a good managed system here. The thing is that they do have good support in terms of the documentation, and the community supports the GnuCash software. There's also stuff for developers. And when I was preparing this, I didn't really pay much attention to development because I'm not really gone that far with this program. But it's open source, meaning it's freely. You can freely go ahead and use their source code to change the software, distribute it, etc. What I found interesting is they have language translations, so they're doing this in multiple languages. So I've only used it here in here in the U.S. I'm using English, but that's pretty interesting. So next I'll just go through a list of the features, and then I'll show you what the program looks like. So it's a bookkeeping system, and it's multi-platform, like all those operating systems I listed, like Windows, Mac OS, Access, Linux. Multiple currency international date usage, so that's important. So if you have transactions in other countries, this is a free program. You can use this pretty good for that reason. Multiple language support on the website, and in addition to what I just showed you, the multiple the language translations are there too. Scheduled transactions, if you have reoccurring transactions, like maybe a gym membership each month, you can make in the software. How do I say this? You can enter the transaction to be reoccurring periodically. Reconcile bank accounts and credit card accounts. So all of the accounts in GnuCash you can reconcile, but mainly you're going to do it for your bank accounts and credit cards. Print checks. There's over 65 different reports. Like for a personal user, the important report is the net worth statement, but they call it's really also called a balance sheet, so you see that in here because they don't call it net worth statement. Investments, stocks and mutual funds. You can, it has the ability to pull down stock quotes, and if you're doing stocks and options. I've used this for both stocks and options, and so it's working pretty good. I referred to the documentation on the website because they have there's a user guide and there's also a concepts guide, which the concepts guide allows you to go through examples of things like investments and other topics. And I just looked it up to see how that works in the program. You can use it for small business. Of course, all the accounts receivable, accounts payable, invoicing, vendors, etc., customers, employees. I've even set up books for a corporation to use this. It was just, they didn't have a lot of sophisticated record keeping needs, so I was able to set that business up that way. Budgeting, so they have a lot of features. Sales tax, I've never used that part of the program because I never charged sales tax in the businesses that I had running. And the next one is import-export data from the software. So we're talking about Quicken, QuickBooks. You can import some of the records into this program if you want, and also export data. Import transactions from online banking, so that you can just pull down some transactions directly into GnuCash. Import transactions from an Android app. So there's the Android app. There's one that says GnuCash, but it's very limited and only records the transactions. So from your smartphone, you can transfer it into your computer, into the full GnuCash. And last thing here, general. I just was going to mention, like you can set it up to fit your needs. So there's preferences, properties, different things that you can customize. Now this isn't the most exciting program, so it's as far as any programs I'm running on my computer, this is the most boring. But it has some features. It works. Okay, so now we'll go to the example. We're going to just I'm going to set up a quick checkbook in this program. Like you can set this up for all your personal finances or other projects, like if you're doing a business or other things. But I'm just going to set it up just to illustrate, just to show you what the program looks like. And we'll just use these numbers here. This is all made up. So, and then if we get, time permitting, I'll just try and show you the reconciliation part. I'll just bring up some screens, and I have some numbers here for us to use if we get to the reconciliation. So I'll just come front of it here. It takes a second for you to open up the program, but then I've already opened it up. It takes more than a second, so it takes probably 15 seconds or more. But
What kind of machine are you running on?
oh, I'm running on Windows, so I installed this GnuCash on my
No, but I mean processor, memory, and so forth.
processor.
Since you're talking about speed.
Oh,
You got 4 gig, 8 gig.
yeah, I have 8 gig on my system here, so.
And i5, i7 processor.
I forget the
Oh,
processor. I think it's 3 point something.
Gigahertz, okay.
I think it's safe to say for personal stuff, it would work on a 15-volt computer.
Sorry?
It would probably work on a 15-volt computer.
This program?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, yeah. I didn't actually look up the system requirements, but.
Just thinking in terms of the data that it's handling and what it's going
Yeah.
to do to it, it's not a lot of work.
Yeah, no, I haven't had any delays, but just opening up the program, it has a splash screen, and it has to open up like it's a database, like Microsoft Access or anything else. So it just takes a few seconds. But I should have just opened it up, but I did it before the meeting just to save time. So. And then I've already installed it, so I'll just show you the desktop icon here. So it's here, it's right here. So I mean, that didn't take long. It's just an easy installation. So, and then, so when we start this, when you first install it, it's going to bring up some wizard dialog boxes. But since I've already have it installed, like it doesn't do that, because I have other things that I've done with it. So what you do is you just start a new file, and that's the same thing. So I'm just going to click continue this method. And then so you get this box here to help you set up the book. So if you want, you can use this. It has templates in it. If you want, you can cancel it and set your books up from scratch. There's the user guide and concept guides on the website that explain how to set it up that way. But I'll just use the template. I'm going to click next, and this just says we're going to be setting up the accounts. This is going to be for the checking account. We'll just accept all the defaults. This is other screens we can just ignore. Like if you were doing it for a business, you can put this information in now, or you can put it in later. Same as if you have invoices, you might have starting numbers where you have the counters start at a certain number. And then budgeting. So we're going to accept all the defaults. If you're doing foreign transactions, that trading accounts has to be selected. They don't explain it too well in the screen, but if you hover your cursor over things, you can get to see what it says there. So I'll click next. The current is asking for the currency, so there's multiple currencies. The U.S. currency is here, the US dollar is the default. I'll just click next. And then this screen here, this shows you all the categories. Now, GnuCash uses the word categories. I believe QuickBooks, they use accounts. So the terminology is a little different, but it's still self-explanatory. Common accounts, that just like if you're doing the personal finances, this is really all you need to start with. Actually, just close the screen story. And so that's common accounts. I'm going to deselect it because we're going to do the checking account, so I'll just select it here. But before I go further, just say that there's other things you can do. Like there's the business accounts, there's fixed assets, there's a list of other things that you can do with this. Retirement accounts, etc. So we're just going to check off. And you can see the screen there. This over here, the accounts. This is really a simple structure. So whereas when you select the common accounts, there'd be more stuff there. So we're just going to have a checking account and some other accounts for the opening balances, expenses, and income. So these are just to doesn't work with the checking accounts. They're offsetting transactions that we'll do when we're putting our numbers in there. So I'll click next, and this will just accept the defaults. This is a little wordy here, but it's just saying that you can make some changes here. So you can change the name of the checking account. Maybe it's a savings account. You can go in and change stuff, change the name and stuff, but you don't have to change it here. You can change it later, like if you wanted to. So we'll just go next, and we'll just apply the changes and the name. Just call it checking. I'll save it to my desktop. There's actually this panel here gives you navigation to other areas where you might want to save it, but I'm going to have to create a folder to put it into. You always want to create a folder because there's going to be, you know, all your files go into one folder, so it's better to organize it right from the get-go. So, oops, I created it. I'll call it example, and I'll just save it. Okay, so this is the start. So this is your books. It's all starting with 0. So now you just have to expand these things here to get drill down to the checking account. It's a little. So you have to navigate to it, but that's basically where the checking account is. And I'm just going to double click on it to open it up. And then we can just start putting in, I'll start the checking account here. Since we don't have anything in there, so put in the balance forward. Just to start with, because you got to have a balance in the checking account. Equity opening balances. So, does anyone have any questions as we go along?
Can you make it bigger somehow?
Oh yeah, I do.
Zoom in, you can zoom in.
I can zoom in a little at times, but
Yeah, really,
but I can't.
That's fun, that's
I
great.
can just illustrate some of it, but I have to come.
Oh, that's great.
I can't enter transactions at the same time. Yeah. So, but anyway, so this is the first one, balance forward. You're starting balance, and it's gonna. Let me come back out. Here we go. So I'm going to just put in a few more transactions here. So I believe in our example we were going to put in a few things here. I'll put in the TV. What this TV supposed. Put in Netflix, and then that's just a TV streaming service. So say it's a monthly expense, and we have to come down here and choose expenses. So we just drop down.
$9.99 a month.
I'll just say 50. Is Netflix $99 a month?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to put in 50 because my reconciliation might not work. Because
Okay.
I had certain figures I was using. Did I spell Netflix correctly? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Net. Just the Netflix like that.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. That was just asking me to save my changes. I have to just take a peek at the example. So we're gonna do rent, cable TV, that was Netflix, I guess. Paycheck, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll just put in the rent. You can also type it, expenses, and put in the amount. I'm using $1,800 a month. So that's in Manhattan, maybe a 3-bedroom.
If that was a paper check, does that go in the non-column?
Yeah, like if you write a check, you put in the check number in there, or any reference number. But if you write a check, that's where you put your check number. It's asking me to save the changes. So I'll just say, remember, don't accidentally record paycheck. So ABC company. So this is the paycheck. So it'll be your income. So you're going to bring down that list, choose income, put in paycheck. I'll just say it's the net pay. You can actually break these down to have your payroll deductions appear, but we're just doing this a quick example. I think that should be enough there. Say the Netflix, you want to do scheduled transactions. You would just right-click it and click on schedule. You can do the same thing in the menus, but I'm going to do it this way. Say it's monthly, so you just change it to monthly, and you can click OK, or you might click advance, and you can choose some other options like create in advance, etc. Sort of create automatically, and then advance maybe 3 days, whatever you want to do. You can change some of the options here. And this is just the journal entry here. This shows you you can put more information in there. Say you had the certain account number that you put this through, or any other information you want, but that's not necessarily just open a field where you can put information in. So I'll just choose to save it. So that's just a scheduled transaction. There's an editor here called Scheduled Transactions Editor, and you can go in and change it or add more to your scheduled transactions. Oh, I just closed. Sorry about that. So every time this comes up, you're going to get a tip of the day if you don't take it. Stop it there.
And those tips are usually something to do with the software.
Yeah, like it'll say stuff about the software. Like it had a comment in there about QuickBooks and those categories versus the accounts. I've seen one of those tips there. Okay, so I'm just going to exit out there. Okay, so then if I just show you quickly the reconciliation. If you want to do a reconciliation, I just click on the button up here at the top. If you hover your mouse over it, it'll tell you it's reconciled with your account. Or you can find it through the menu system. So I'll just click the button. And since it's September, usually the bank statement, you have to take the date off your bank statement. So for September, that would be September 30th. And then you put in the amount at the bottom here. So I'll just put something in there. I'll just say, I'll just put that number in there. Because like you would put the ending balance on your bank statement in there. You put the statement date up here. That's for your bank statement. If you have interest if it's interest account, you would put in more information like the interest that you earn. That will be self-explanatory if you get to that. So here's the reconciliation screen. So you have your bank statement, and then you just compare it against your own records. You've seen me earlier. I put in that balance forward. So that's just an opening number. So that's the opening balance because we're just setting up the books with a balance. It didn't let me set the balance prior to when we were in the template. I couldn't put in the figures, so there's a little bit of a flaw there in terms of the software. But to do it, you just select this balance forward as part of your reconciliation. And on your bank, if you just select, say the Netflix, if you know, it shows up in your bank statement, same as your paycheck, and then maybe that check didn't clear the bank, you just leave it on selected. So that's just that's the idea around reconciliation. I think I said it too much in a nutshell, but that's the idea. So you look on your bank statement, there might be charges that are not on your side of the record keeping. So you look at those further. So say you got charged by Netflix twice. So you would, obviously you're gonna call Netflix and correct that, but you would come back here and record it just so that it matches your bank statement while you're waiting for it to be correct.
Does your bank, no detail, but does your bank offer like a separated value? So we offer a electronic version of the monthly statement so that maybe GnuCash or something else can compare its database to what your bank, because that eliminates that from me looking at the bank statement and every month look, if I write the 10 checks, I can look, is there anything that's automated? Is there anything that banks offer, your bank?
Yeah,
that
I know what you're
makes
talking
things easier?
Like, you mean like importing and stuff like that?
The importing stuff, we're going to do a comparison. So let the software do the reconciling, and if there's something's, out of the ordinary, blinking lines, there's a...
That common, that CVS, that common separated value is common in all over the place.
Do you use anything?
But
your bank
my bank didn't offer that. They offer some other format, but it doesn't. I don't get that with the bank statement. I just download my bank statement in a PDF document.
Oh, really? You can't get it like in
I don't.
or Excel spreadsheet formats?
Yeah, you can do that too. But no, actually, not my bank statement. I can't do it with my bank statement. That's your question, right? The bank statement?
Yeah, what can you do? What can you automate?
Yeah, you can pull down some transactions from online banking. The transactions themselves. So there's a way to do that, but I didn't set that up myself on this.
I think author statements in CSV format and Quicken format. And I'm pretty sure it's statements, not just like select weeks.
Well, I'm talking about the monthly statement that they used to mail to you, like is that the same? But
Yeah,
you can do a date. I could do a
yeah.
date range of transactions
I
as
can
well.
get them.
So yeah, I could, in a way.
I can get a statement
I
as a
see.
PDF file or as two different table formats.
Yeah.
And it's been a couple of years since I looked at GnuCash, but I'm pretty sure there's something in there that will import a Quicken, a table of transactions.
If I just showed
So
you.
you'll see some of the directory.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works,
Like,
but
it's sometimes
But I mean, this
definitely
is,
read the manual.
but, yeah, but this is the concept of reconcile.
Like my note guy, do this, and we'll be happy.
But anyway, so I'll show you that in a second. I'll just put those import and export screen in a second. But down here, once you get your difference to zero, you reconcile. So right now, you have to go through a process, like you say, of comparing your records to the bank statement in one way or another.
Manually.
Manually, yes.
That's tedious.
It is, it is. Like if you have a lot of bank accounts,
Yeah,
and
you're
savings
running
accounts.
business also.
Yeah, I mean, it is tedious.
Again, that's what the computer helps you.
So maybe I can, maybe it's something that on sideline someone help with.
Can you edit the dates and the amounts on the screen?
Which amounts?
Like if a vendor charged you $5 more than you thought they were going to, then...
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can go, you go through a process. And I'll just, I'm going to cancel this because it's not reconciled. So I don't want to take a risk here, see if it gives me an error. So I'll just say yes, cancel for now. But that's the idea of the reconciliation screen. And to address the import and export, like in file menu, in the file menu, there's import and export. And I don't know if you can see, let me just increase that. So just the import. The export, there's just CPS. Yeah, so yes, CSVs are. And so these are the ones.
QIF, that's Quicken format?
What's that?
QIF is the Quicken format?
I'm not sure.
It is.
Yeah, that's how.
It is quick.
GnuCash.
Oh, okay. So I used the, I was actually using the Android app, and I was trying to import the transactions you receive from CSV, but it failed with the app itself. But then I used the import QIF, and it worked. But sometimes there's software bugs, and but I mean, yeah, it's ongoing thing. Yes.
This is desktop-based, not online-based?
Yeah, this is desktop-based. They do have a smartphone app in the Google Play Store. It's limited to just recording transactions into your phone. And you can just see some information about that, and then you would import them back into this program. So it's tedious, I found, but you can do it. So what I'd like to do, the preferred app, the preference I would have is if you could scan the receipt and just have it import directly from your phone to your computer, whatever. But there's too many steps. Like you have to pull the file here and then go through the process here, which is manual. Okay, so let me just go back to this screen here. So we have the numbers in here, and this is just the checking account. So I have, when you double click it, when I double click it, it opens up tabs. There's reports in here. I told you there's a lot of reports. The one where it says balance sheet, that's the same as a net worth statement. So I'll just do it. For a checking account, it doesn't make sense, but I'll just show you the report. Unfortunately, I can't increase the screen too much, but it's just like. I mean, it looks like a balance sheet. You just have to change the report title to net worth. Let's see, let me just show you how. Like to do that, I'm going to go into the options, which is this one here. Go back to general here, where it says balance sheet. Like if I was to do a net worth statement to take to my bank, for example, if I was using these reports. Let me just say about the reports. I don't like the reporting system, but the program does accurate record keeping. But what I do is I use the numbers on these reports, and I do it in Excel because I'm very good at Excel. I can customize Excel to look better than these reports. There's not a lot of bells and whistles to this program, but it works. It's free. What was I saying? Okay, I got track a net worth. So the report title, net worth statement. Does someone have a question? So you can see up there, net worth statement, and all I did was just change the formatting. I mean, you just have to do with this manual formatting, but I mean, I still have been able to do things with it. Like I've used it for business, and I actually used it one time for treasury, and I still do. I transfer the numbers to Excel, and just use accurate numbers there, and just have it customized in Excel to become better format. I just don't like the format. So here you put the company name. So say throw my name in there, and it just shows up the title. It's a little awkward to use. Maybe I don't want that there. I'll just change it around. mean, this is just a check account. I was just showing you some of the stuff, so you have an idea how it works. And I guess, any questions?
Is there a place for training?
Pending?
They have $10,000. And I think $200 that are not the process was not completed. So we started out with $10,000 and it shows that we have $8,000 available. And that $200 the money is not the process complete. And once I got, that's what I do like that. That would be pending.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean, pending. No, there's no pending here, but your bank will have that, like with your account balances. Some of your transactions are pending. Yeah, so some of them are pending, but I mean that's just. Yeah, you don't put. Yeah. So it's just it's just. It just means it hasn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It just means it hasn't cleared your bank. It's still pending.
Does the manual for GnuCash have any general and specific advice about actual accounting methods, or do they stay away from that? And either way, do you recommend any books, especially in free resources?
Well, they have a very good documentation on their website. There's a user guide, and I wouldn't go through the user guide, it's very long. But the concept guide I found was good because it does talk about accounting concepts. It teaches you about stuff. I went back for the investments, like I wanted to know how to record the stock. If you're doing stock trading, I just wanted to know how to do the journal entries into GnuCash for record keeping purposes. So I found that you can just go in and look these things up, and you can also go on YouTube or other areas. Like I didn't think reading a book, unless you're talking about accounting, a book to learn accounting.
Yeah, just like what's a good place to start for? I want to learn how to do personal accounting. Right?
Yeah, a good place to start would be something on bookkeeping systems, like just go through the whole course on basic bookkeeping. So, and they have accounting books that go through it, but I find with the accounting books, they will tell you some stuff, but they don't really give you a lot of foundation. But if you study a course on the bookkeeping from the start to the end, like right through to the trial balance, the financial statements at the end, but it tells you the transactions, trial, journal entries, T accounts, and different things that you use in bookkeeping, and brings it all together.
You could also try something like Khan Academy. They have something like this. It just
I was also going to say a lot of the community colleges have classes at night.
Oh, okay.
Or on accounting. I took accounting at night.
That's good. That would be good.
The books, I just couldn't break the ice until I had a good teacher to bring me through it.
Yeah, same here. I'd go through the books, and they would go on a different tangent, and then go in a different direction. I found like it didn't tell me the whole system. That's useful too. So, what was I going to show? I was going to say something about the security of the data. When your books are created in this, we created a folder here called example. This one here, and all the files that run in this, you can move that folder. And what I found, like when I had a business, I was kind of concerned because when you have customer records, other things like your, just vendors and information, all kinds of business information in this file. Let me just open it up here. You get log files, you get backup files, and there's a main data file that we created at the beginning, that top one. That one there, that's, we call it check, but there's file type is GnuCash financial data, but that's for the program. So if you click on this program, it will open up your books that we created there. You'll see this other one here. This is the same thing. It's the same file type, but it's a backup that was done during the presentation. It was a backup that automatically got created here. So, this backup, if you take that and move that somewhere else and open it up, it's going to take you into GnuCash at the time that backup occurred. But what I do, since it's all in one file, it's important if you move it to like an encrypted folder or maybe a flash drive or whatever security method you want to use. You want to protect it that way, but if it's personal finances, I'm not worried about protecting it because I don't put my social security number in there or account information. I just run my numbers in there. So on the personal side is fine, but if you're doing it for these other categories of projects you're trying to do, just be aware that file there's no password to open it up. So you have to.
More encryption of the database inside the program, or
There's a, yes, no, because this is I installed this standalone on my computer.
Mm-hmm.
They have other ways to install with it's called MySQL and other databases.
Yep.
Those have security features, but this
if you want to use it in the file,
this is standalone. This is XML database.
You need the system to
yeah.
provide encryption, not GnuCash. If you want it encrypted in the file, you need the system to provide the encryption some other way.
Yeah, like what I do is I move this file into, it's called, I use VeraCrypt, and it expands like a space that's encrypted when it's, it's like a virtual drive, whatever,
I would agree with that. If you're using this for projects that belong to a lot of people, you want to store it, use something like VeraCrypt to create an encrypted space to put things and put it in there.
How do you do the green highlighting like that?
Oh, I'm using, there's a pretty cool utility I came across, it's called Zoom It. So, so it's creating a system tray down there, look. It's this one here. And you can do all kinds of stuff, like you can do.
How do you spell it?
Zoom it. Well, let me open it. I'll just open it up here to show you. This is how you spell it. There it is. I can't expand here, but Zoom it. It's a Microsoft. I think Microsoft bought the company or whatever the project. But I found it on a Microsoft download, and it's a pretty good program. You can do a lot of different things. I don't know if I can show you everything there, but it's pretty interesting.
You just downloaded it off of the Microsoft site?
Yes, directly from there, because I think it was on one of the TechNet. It might have been on TechNet, but just Google it and make sure it's Microsoft.com or tech, something like Microsoft. And then I was telling you that there was preferences, properties, like I don't know what happened. So the properties, that's, I guess I'll just open the screen. We came across this when we were looking at the templates. So that's the properties that I've already gone through that. But if I show you the preferences, there's more things you can do in here to just make a few choices, personal choices. Like down here, we're talking the backups under general. The backups, unless you change it, they continue to, by default, they usually go forever, but you have to change some of these things. Like where you can change it, you can set it for a certain number of days. I turn it off as a backup file. I just back up, I have my own backup system, and I just back up to one file, because you don't have to track all these backup files. You just put all these files in there, and it's a little cluttered, so so you can just turn it off here if you choose, but just be aware that that folder is going to grow. Make you be aware of some of the settings. So that's what I wanted to show.
Any other questions?
It's not the, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of QuickBooks or other programs, but it's open source, it's free, and it's still trying to come up with a lot of smartphone apps where they can't really replace this. I mean, this is the full program, it's a full bookkeeping system. You can keep your records, balance your checkbook. So thank you.